Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Taproom Success Podcast, Taproom Success Show. I'm Kerry Shumway, joined by my good buddy Andrew Copeland. Andrew, how are you doing today?
Carrie, it's great to be here. Beautiful fall day here in Virginia. It's election day here when we're recording. My kid is off school, so if he barges in, which I don't think he will, I apologize in advance, but maybe he'll have some good insight. But how's everything up north, Carrie?
Everything up north is great as well. We have a beautiful day, a little blustery, clicking into November here. It's hard to believe winter is almost right around the corner, but yeah, we just did the old fall back. I don't know how you feel about this, but I kind of love it because you get that extra hour. The spring ahead, you lose it and whatnot. But the day, I don't know, felt so much more productive for that one silly hour. It made a big difference.
It was a productive day, except I'll mention my kid again. He decided to wake up at 5:40 that morning. So I thought I was going to get that hour of like reading time. Nope, he wanted that extra hour too, but it was a great extra long day for us all.
Well, maybe your son needs to get some feedback. And feedback, Andrew, is the topic for today's show. We're going to talk about guest feedback. So share with us, if you will, the story when you and your wife were driving the car, you were stuck in traffic, and you saw something in front of you. What
Yeah,
did you?
we did see something. And you made it sound so dramatic, everybody. It's not quite that dramatic.
No,
We
no,
got
it
out on
is.
a beautiful fall afternoon and we hopped on the highway, and it should have only taken us about 15 minutes to get where we're going, but the traffic was stopped. So we're sitting in traffic on a beautiful sunny day. There's a big, oversized, like work van right in front of us with a sticker that we've all seen a million times in our lives, but probably never done anything about. It was a typical "How am I driving" sticker, followed by a 1-800 number, and it had a vehicle identification number below it as well. So I'm just sitting there parked. I took a picture of it because I'm thinking about this. I'm like, how do we get feedback? It's really interesting that all of these work vans all across the country have this, but does anybody actually call that number? And I was hoping that just thought about that sticker would inspire me to write something. But before I could even get to what I wanted to write about, my wife goes, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm just taking a picture. Maybe I'll get inspired." And she's like, "Why don't you just call the number?" So once again, this work van is stuck in traffic alongside us. So I called the number. I'm like, oh my gosh, they answered like in one ring, Carrie. And it was like a really upbeat woman. And she goes, "What would you like to report?" So that was the initial tone. And it made me feel weird because I don't know about you, but report almost has like a negative connotation to it. Like, did someone do something wrong? Like, has there been a crime? And like before I could even like respond to that, she was like, "What happened?" Like as if there's like a concern or something. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." Like I'm literally just calling to report that the driver in front of me is doing a great job following the rules of the road. That's what I said. I mean, we're just stuck in traffic, and I was just like more curious what would happen if I called. And so like she paused and she was like, it was really kind of dramatic silence. She's like, "Okay, well, what's the vehicle ID?" And I gave it to her. But the thing was, Carrie, she seemed shocked that someone would take the time to report positive behavior. And I kind of feel like that's a problem. Like, how do you feel about that?
I think that's human nature, right? I mean, we only speak up when there is a problem. But what I was thinking when you were telling the story was like your brain never shuts off, does it? You're driving down the road and you're thinking about how can this relate to
We
taproom?
get inspired in the most random places sometimes, and I
Yes.
like making like unlikely comparisons because we can learn from those experiences. So
Yeah.
yeah, my brain unfortunately doesn't shut off sometimes.
Well then, okay, so how do you think that experience sort of reflects or reveals how that we usually treat feedback in our tap rooms in hospitality?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we often think of feedback as a negative. We're thinking about it like, did someone do something wrong? Just like the lady asked, like, what happened? We look at it as, oh no, this feedback is not going to be good. But in my opinion, feedback, we need to change the mindset because it shouldn't just be about catching those negatives. Granted, there is a ton of value in learning from those experiences, and that's another conversation. But for today's focus, I want it to be on the flip side, as in we should be celebrating the positives. I think that's why we really need to focus about this. So the question really is, for everyone listening today, brewery owners, like managers, you probably don't have that 1-800 number on your bar, or you're on the side of your bar on a can. But there was once long ago, I did have a can of beer that said, if you have feedback, want to call this 1-800 number. And I did, but that's literally a decade ago. So I guess that maybe does exist in some weird time. But moral of the story is like, how will you make it easy for your guests to share feedback? Both positive or negative, but for the sake of today, we want to talk about ease and how it could potentially be positive. So, like here are like three simple ways you can make it easy for the guest to leave you feedback. Because we all want those stories to share of like, Carrie had such a good time at the brewery on Saturday, and here's what he said. Those positive testimonials are great on your website. They're great in marketing. They're great to take back to your team and say, so and so was so hospitable when they had a new guest come in last Sunday. We love things like that. So, here are a few little ways you can get that hopefully positive feedback. The first, we've all said it before, but leave us a Google review. I mean, these reviews do matter when you search a business. If you see a brewery that has 4.5 average stars versus 3.5, we probably know where we're going to go, but you need to make it easy for the person to lead those reviews. Maybe a QR code simply on a tabletop sign, or maybe when you get a printed receipt as you're checking out, hey, here's a QR code, here's a link, please follow it, give us feedback. We'd love to hear about your experience. So Google review, I think a super, super easy way. And Carrie, I don't know about you, but we probably don't go to them as much as we used to, but I imagine you've been to chain restaurants in your life at some point in time where you've had like the person obviously dressed as a manager, wearing some sort of polo, maybe khaki shorts, probably tucked in, walks up to your table. It's like, hey, how's everything going? Right? We've all had that. So
Yep.
table touches like that can be really important. You may be having like a supervisor, maybe a manager, maybe even if you're the owner, just go out in the tap room and ask, how's your experience going? What's right? What's wrong? Like we always say, just ask the questions. And another way to easily get feedback, and this is a little promotional from my end, but wearing my secret hopper hat, you get a lot of taproom data. And it's good to look at like the good, the bad, the ugly, but it gives you customized feedback on your experience. That way you can reward your team for doing a great job. I mean, customized feedback, Google feedback, person to person feedback can all be really valuable to know how you can better celebrate your team.
It's good. Yeah, and I like just ask, right? Just go out there and ask. It's interesting too when you have the owner walking around, it sort of makes a difference. And we were talking recently with our buddy Chris Dial from Wanderlinger Brewery, and we were kind of talking along, not feedback specifically, but guest interaction and talking to your customers and how important that is. And he just said, yeah, we just go up and say, hey, how can we do better? What could we do to make your experience better? And it's a great question because you'd be like, oh, as opposed to, I don't know, spinning it like in a way that because a lot of people don't. I suspect human nature is also that we won't necessarily share all the particulars of how we're feeling about the experience. But oh no, it's great, as opposed to, what could we do better? Oh, well, that sort of prompts me to think about, certain specifics that might be helpful. But I think to your point, asking for the feedback and you got the feedback, like now what do you do with it?
Yeah, I mean, I will even say that when you're asked how you feel about experience by an owner or manager, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like your perspective actually matters. And even more so, let's say you give that owner or manager some valuable little tidbit. They'd be like, oh, I've never looked at it from that perspective. Because owners, managers, staff, you look at the tap room often as a place of work. The little things become a little less easy to see sometimes because it just becomes a blur. So having that other perspective can be really valuable. But once you have all this data, just ask yourself these few questions. Like, how often are you actually reviewing it as a team? You can have all the data in the world in the tap room, in the brew house regarding everything in your brewery, but if you're not using it, and you talk about this so much, Carrie, then it's all for nothing. So ask yourself, how often are you reviewing this as a team? And I put the word team in there because it's so important that you're transparent with them and so important they can understand why this matters. Oh, someone had a negative. Okay, team, what can we do better so this doesn't happen to other guests? And how will it impact the team? Oh, when guests are greeted a little more quickly, they're going to feel respected a little bit more. They're going to spend a little bit more money. They're going to buy more beers. Like all of these things happen that lead to positive results. So review the feedback as a team. But and you're reviewing it, make time to celebrate the positives from it. If someone gets a shout out, maybe it told you face to face, or maybe it's in that Google review, reward that person for whatever they did right. It could be just simply calling them out in person at the team meeting. It could be a shout out in the newsletter. It could be a gift card. It could be some brewery swag, just something to make your team appreciated for doing something right. Don't just say, "Hey, Carrie, you're taking way too long to greet those guests. What's going on, man?" We need that sometimes, but it's also good to celebrate the positives. And also going back to the guest, are you taking time when someone leaves a Google review, when someone tells you something in person? Are you going back to follow up with them about their input? Like, hey, we've made these changes. I know you come here a lot. Do you see the difference? Like, is there anything else we can do? Just thank you again, because everyone likes to be thanked. So you've got all this data, use the data, celebrate the data with your team, but also with your guests.
Those are great tips, Andrew. I love them. Feedback is important, and doing something with it to make the tap room better, the guest experience better, super important. So if you all watching and listening are interested in joining the conversation at Taproom Success, you can motor on over to taproomsuccess.com and learn a little bit more about what we do. Each month we have our mastermind meetings with taproom owners and managers from across the land, a monthly expert that comes in and speaks on a specific topic that's important and valuable for taprooms. And of course, we have all of our online courses that you can use, can access 24/7 to strengthen your training programs within your taproom. Did I miss anything, Andrew?
I mean, I think connection has never been more important. So it's so valuable to connect with other people just like you across the country to share ideas, to learn from each other. As we focus so much on the taproom experience, we can just learn so many unique little things from our peers across the industry. So I would love for you to join. I think you'd find value in it. You can learn more at taproomsuccess.com. And everybody, we hope to see you soon. Cheers.